This is Twit.
There it is. There is Knightscope's autonomous security robot, the K5, patrolling. This is not a joke. This is not a Dalek. This is actually a security robot patrolling. Here to talk about how this robot is being used all over the world to help protect, predict, and prevent crime. Co-founder and chief client officer, also former Texas PD officer, Stacy Dean Stevens. Stacy, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. This is hysterical. I'm sure people immediately say RoboCop, right? But what capabilities does the K5 have, really?
You know, I think it's very important for people to understand that this is not Hollywood. This is not TV drama. So
it doesn't even have arms,
no,
friends.
No, the capabilities of the robots are actually quite tremendous. Some of the things that we have: 360-degree video, two-way audio for intercom calls, broadcast, public address system.
So I could say exterminate.
You could.
You couldn't actually do it, but it could say it.
Oddly enough, though, that's one of the things that we blacklisted.
Oh, really?
That's not a. Somebody can't type that in as a custom broadcast. But we do have the ability to do custom broadcasts. We can do license plate recognition, thermal imaging, so looking for heat detection, fire, and the like.
So really, it's really about surveillance. It's about watching what's going on.
Yeah. So in
what's
law
that
enforcement,
sound? What does that mean?
We have. You can see it's got audible sound coming out of it. That's the patrol sound for the robot.
Oh, so you don't want people to be snuck up on.
No, and two, I mean, think of the society in which we live. Everybody's in their device. I can keep the robot from running into somebody. I can't keep somebody from running into the robot. So it does have lights all over the outside. There's a strobe light you see flashing on the back side of it.
How heavy is it?
About 400 pounds.
So it's hard to pick up.
It would be very difficult.
You're not going to just run off with it.
But I have heard of people trying to knock these over, get it into the pond at the mall and push it into the water, stuff like that, right?
Steve, yes.
Steve?
Steve was his name, yes.
The late Steve?
The late Steve. He's been reincarnated, though. He's actually working elsewhere now.
Oh, that's hysterical.
He's a great guy.
Now, so, I can see this in the mall. It's really as much preventative, isn't it, as
absolutely.
As surveillance?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this from the standpoint of being a deterrent, it is absolutely tremendous. We've deployed this in multiple different places, corporate campuses and shopping centers and the like. And as a matter of fact, XPO Logistics just put out a press release a couple of months back. In the first 6 months of having this robot, they completely eliminated crime.
Arrest him. Arrest that man. You can't arrest anybody with him.
No, but they've completely eliminated crime on their campus in the first 6 months, and they saved $125,000.
Now, can you tell it to follow someone?
No, not really. It's not looking for that. It's looking for anomalies. So if you think of if we switch over to something like
does it have an autonomous mode? Is it in
It's fully autonomous, yes.
Oh,
that's what it's doing
so you're not steering it around. You're not driving it around. It's literally patrolling up and down.
Correct.
Here's the interface on the screen.
And you could build it. You could give it like a map that it's just going to for a mall.
We give it a geofence. We give it a geofence and say operate in here, and then the controllers, the client or the users, can actually go in and change the patrol routes by time of day, by day of the week, so that they're actually hitting the areas that are going to be the most vulnerable.
So it saw this guy and said, that's suspicious?
Said there is a person there. Now, that's not suspicious.
That's a still.
Unless, correct.
That's a held still.
And then we can go in and we can play the video associated with that particular event. So now you can see the robot going.
So there's presumably an operator somewhere, but not always.
Correct.
It's like a security camera. There might be somebody looking at it, there might not
It's like your Ring. It's just like the Ring. It's going to send an alert. You're not going to sit there and look at your interface of your doorbell all day long.
No, I don't.
Same thing with this. And look, it's doing it right now.
Oh,
so
you
now
get an alert.
We have an alert. This is a license plate that we have blacklisted. It's just one out in the parking lot, but we did this for effect.
So you could look for license plates.
Correct.
Wow.
So we have license plate recognition. So think about a terminated employee, somebody to whom you've issued
see him in my lot.
Somebody to whom you've issued a criminal trespass warnings.
Right.
Or what if you wanted to provide a service to your employees?
I lost my car. I can't find my car. Can you help me find my car?
Now, could you reverse it and say only allow these license plates in?
Whitelist. So the other way around, and it'll give an exception alert. But think about domestic violence turning into workplace violence. That's one of the most violent things that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get
the number one source of
It is.
mass killings in the
It
workplace.
is. So you can blacklist, offer up to those people who are being abused the ability to blacklist a domestic abuser, prevent that domestic violence from turning into workplace violence.
I'm liking this guy. You want this guy on your side, don't you? Now, tell me a little bit. So there's 4 cameras on it?
We have a full 360 degrees.
Is that
so
at the
4
top?
cameras. Up at the top is actually a series of lasers. It's a LiDAR.
Okay.
It's just a way for the robot to navigate. It's
Is
one
it
of the chief
using that
capabilities.
Can it build a 3D model from
That's
the
what
LiDAR?
that is, yes.
But can it store that and give it back to you as if it's wandering around, or is it just using it for navigation?
It's using it for navigation, yeah.
What's the notch in the top there, or is that just to look scary?
On the front side of it,
Yeah.
when it flips around, that's another LiDAR. So in total, we have, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 LiDARs on that particular
And are they all
robot.
Velodyne?
No, they are not.
Okay.
We have
This is more
6
than my
LiDArs
Tesla.
as well.
This thing is better. It'd probably be better at autopilot than my car.
And does it do chemical any kind of chemical recognition?
Not yet. So we built it as a platform so that as we move forward, we're constantly upgrading. So the good thing about this is we sell it as a subscription. We're not selling the robot and saying, okay, good luck, because, I mean, we're dealing with...
No, you want to support it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we can support it, and then we provide the software upgrades, the firmware upgrades, and in some cases, hardware upgrades.
You could put a sniffer on it.
We
if you wanted
could.
to.
So as we go out and as we continue to develop, we can continue to add things onto the platform that's for specific use cases.
You could even add just a little notch and put a dog on it.
How tall is it?
5.5 feet tall, 3 feet wide.
It's pretty big.
Weighs 400 pounds. That's the outdoor version. We have an indoor version. It's a little bit shorter, about 4.5 feet tall, 2 feet wide.
But you obviously spent some time thinking about what it should look like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you want it to be a little intimidating? Is that part of why it's so big?
It's less about being intimidating. As a matter of fact, if we had wanted it to be intimidating, we would have painted it matte black, maybe given it red lights and a track propulsion system. But
Can I order it that way?
These are going into public areas, so you want the public to kind of embrace them. So we were very deliberate about the design of it. But most importantly is really, if you think about surveillance footage, what do you always see on TV, on the news? Something coming down and looking at the top of my head. Nobody wants to see my bald head.
No, you want to see
you
the
can't
person's
identify
face.
me.
Yeah.
So if you look at the placement of the cameras, it is eye level. We wanted to make sure that we had really good footage of anybody who was doing something nefarious.
Does your software do face recognition?
No. So facial recognition is incredibly difficult to do, even on a stationary camera where you have a fixed background, a fixed foreground, and only the subject coming in and out. Once you start moving the camera around, it becomes infinitely more difficult. Now, many companies are out there who are developing that. I mean, think about the body cams.
Or Amazon's recognition software.
Exactly. So as that becomes available, again, part of the service is being able to do those upgrades.
And what's the subscription cost?
Really, really easy. We wanted to be completely inclusive. The only thing that's not included, it actually is included, but there's overage if we go over on data because they communicate via LTE primarily.
Oh, interesting.
So we give 100 gigabytes of data per month. If the clients go over that, then it's just a pass-through cost. I'm not a cellular provider, so I'm not selling that. So it's a pass-through cost. But everything else is included. So the stationary one starts at $4,500 a month. That would be for small areas, choke points, entry points.
Okay.
The indoor version and the outdoor version are both the same. They start at $6,500. They top out fully loaded at $8,300 a month. So for about half the cost of a 24-hour security guard, which would be at least 4 or 5 employees because you have to have the overage and holidays and weekends and such.
Wait a minute. What's the K7? I want that one.
That's not yet available. That'll be coming out sometime next year. But that is an actual running prototype that we have. There you go. There's the video for it.
What would you tell me about that? What would you use that for?
So think about perimeter fencing around a prison. Keep contraband from coming in. Think about infrastructure, nuclear power plants, regular power plants, solar farms, wind farms.
So this could handle rougher terrain.
Exactly. This one's intended to go in a little bit more rugged environment, whereas the K3 and the K5 are intended for ADA compliant areas.
I see. So, but our parking lot is absolutely not smooth and perfect. It's got, as you can see, it's not well maintained. It's not having any trouble getting around
Not
a
at all.
normal parking
Not
lot.
at all.
If it's ADA compliant, if a wheelchair could go through it, you can go through.
Right, and we do what's called the water hose test. Got to throw something down in front of it, make sure it can go over that. So the small cracks
go
and
over little
rocks and things like
bumps
that. Yeah.
Wow, that is really interesting. It is a little intimidating. Have you tested it? I mean, what do kids think when they see it?
A really quick peek on social media will show you all kinds of robot selfies with kids, adults, dogs, cats. We had people who were going out and they were posing their animals and their pets with the robots. It's really, really cool. But again, that deterrence of the robot is absolutely incredible. Not at all, not at all. Please do. I'll see it ran over his cord.
Okay, yeah. Alex, stay out of the way of the robot. I'm just saying. Is it a robot? Is that what you call it?
We do.
Yeah. Knightscope.
Hashtag security robot.
Hashtag security robot. How many? It seems like these are all over the place.
We're solely focused on the U.S. market right now. We've got them in 15 different states and all 4 different time zones. Corporate campuses, hospitals, airports, retail, malls. Really, really great in those environments.
Does it help in apprehending criminals? I mean, tell me some of the things this can do.
We've had some tremendous successes already. So we were instrumental in writing an arrest warrant for a sexual predator. We helped stop the fraudulent insurance
Because you
crime.
had video or you had images of this guy.
Yep.
Wow.
And also, I mean, if you think about the other things that we have, we talked about the license plate recognition and the like, capturing additional information on a subject and giving that to law enforcement so that they can build their case better.
Do you do anything special about the video to make it more useful in prosecution of crime?
The main thing, again, is having that eye-level video. That's one. 2, we're using only high definition, and we also offer 4K capabilities.
Is it time-stamped and stuff like
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it could be used in court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have location, you have GPS location, you have.
You do.
Is it using anything inside the malls? How is it managing its? It's just using LiDAR to manage its position.
Correct. LiDAR is the primary. We also have GPS for the outdoor environments. We're using wheel odometry and also inertial measurement units and the like. So all those things are kind of combined together to give the robot a really good feel for where it is, what's the surroundings, what are all the obstacles in its way, and then how can it navigate through those obstacles.
It's going to kill my Roomba, though, if it sees it, right? It's just going to squish it.
Run right over it.
Is it kind of like a Roomba in that sense? I mean, tell me about the pattern. Do you tell it what pattern, or is it just kind of a random walk? Or
totally client dependent and environment dependent. You want to make certain that you're able to access areas where crime is most likely to occur. Think about a parking structure or a parking lot. Those are areas where security guards, they get very bored very quickly, and so they tend to become complacent with their environment and not paying attention to all the details.
There's somebody at your headquarters. You want to do something
that's right
about
at my
that?
door.
That's
Right at my front door.
So you've got one sitting
I've
there.
got a K1 sitting in front of my front door. We eat our own dog food, so we have robots.
This really is like a
patrolling
Ring
robots.
video doorbell on steroids, isn't it? I love this idea.
Absolutely.
I want one for my house. Wow, that is really, really cool. Knightscope. This is we're looking at the K5 patrolling our lot right now. The K1 is stationary. That's what you have.
Correct.
Oh, look, there's even a map of
Let's
where
switch
it
back to
is. Right
So
now.
you can see all the different, you were asking about routes. So this is a really good indication. We go in, we can see all the different zones of where the robots can potentially be deployed. This is my headquarters. You can see where the robots are. A user can go in and schedule where they want them to patrol, where they want them to patrol.
Great.
So we come in and we work with the client to develop different zones, different patrol patterns, and then they can go in and change that by hour of the day, by day of the weekend, by machine.
This is less expensive than a human and really safer, really, for the humans. You can get the information you need without having to patrol all the time. Very, very cool. What's the long-term future for this? Are we going to add arms and guns?
Absolutely not. We draw a very, very thick red line between weaponization of machines and what we do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and
It's not a weapon. It's not intended to be a weapon.
No, it's meant. Its sole purpose is to give public safety officials, whether they're security guards or law enforcement, additional intelligence. We want to make certain that they have the information that they need to make smarter, safer, and faster
decisions. And it allows
decisions.
it to get them over the tedium. So you have, like at a mall, now you don't have you have a QRF that is somewhere that, in the mall, but they don't have
a QRF?
quick response. A quick response force.
So officers that can go to some everything and handle
So
it.
they're in a central location, but they're not wandering around. You have something that's telling you when it tells you that there's something going on, or when you see something going on, they only have to react to that.
Correct.
But that keeps them less complacent because they're only reacting to things that are
Yeah,
important.
you want to, the way you want to build this into your security build-up, I mean, if you're a corporate campus, you want to come in and you want to put the robots where they're going to be most successful, and you want to put the people where they're going to be most successful.
Right.
We're not trying to replace people. This that's not a one-to-one replacement. I'll be the first person to tell anybody that. It's an augmentation. So if you put the robots in where people are bored, they're going to be very successful. Then the people are actually going to be doing less of that monotonous, boring work. Give that to the robots, and now they're going to be responding to things in a more adequate way.
Yeah. You've already exhausted Alex, our human, so we're gonna wrap this. I saw Alex is going, oh, let me. He can't keep up with the robot. That's fantastic. What a really. This is not science fiction. This is happening right now all over the country.
It is today.
I think it's just fascinating.
I had somebody before the show ask me, is this the security guard of the future? I said, it's the security guard of today.
Yeah. Knightscope. Where can people find out more?
Knightscope.com, the quickest way to get information.
Knightscope.com.
They can request a
team.
demo if somebody's interested in adding this to their security team.
Yeah.
And also get more information directly from the company.
Co-founder, Chief Client Officer, former Texas PD, Stacy Dean Stevens. The other reason it's so big is so somebody's just not going to carry it off. You ever lose anybody?
Portability is not your friend in security. Not at all. So yeah.
So I imagine that
Two guys in a
the
pickup
battery's
truck.
really
You could just take this.
There's numerous alarms. If you go out and you strike the machine, try to tilt it, pick it up, relocate it.
Plus, it's got GPS. I know where it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've already got the video of you
taking
doing
it. Yeah, people often ask me, well, what if somebody steals your Ring doorbell? I said, no problem, I got video.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And that's actually another couple of the crimes. I arrested somebody in Mountain View for attempting to tamper with one of our machines. Caught it all on video, provided that to police, and they went to jail that night.
I got you on tape, guy.
Yep.
Well, there's probably not any tape in there, but I got you bits. It's really, 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 really cool. Thank you, Stacy. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
your
much.
time.